Hi guys, and welcome back to Adam's Aquatics. In today's video it's going to be a care guide video, and we're going to be going through how I care for Apistogramma agassizi in my fish room. So I've been keeping this guy Percy in my fish room for approximately 6 months now, and he has been going all guns blazing. He's a really healthy fish and he really enjoys his tank. His female, on the other hand, she's been with me for 2 months because he did actually kill his original female. So he came to me with a female from a fish shop. And they were both absolutely tiny. She never really grew, whereas he took off really quickly, and subsequently he bullied her to the point where he killed her. Now this one, on the other hand, she has grown really quickly in the 2 months that she's been with me, and he doesn't really have much of a chance to bully her, which is really fantastic and great. So let's talk about tank setup. So as is always the case with Apistogrammas, you want lots of coconut huts and places to hide. So in this tank there is 5 coconut huts, and then obviously they really enjoy plants. So I always say that I like to go for a chaotic look with lots of plants and lots of roots, because obviously you don't have to plant Anubias in the substrate. So I just like to weight it down and then just let the roots grow wherever they grow. So there's Anubias, I think that's Pacopa, and then there's a massive Amazon sword in the back of his tank. So water, the most important thing, water. I keep them in the same water conditions that I do all my pistos, at around 25 degrees. His tank is slightly cooler than the rest because this is closest to the door, and I do water changes once a week now. So that's reduced down from 2 times a week to 1 time a week, just because I personally have seen actually better growth from them with 1 time a week, which seems a bit counterintuitive because the cleaner the water, the quicker they'll grow. But actually, I think the less that you meddle, the quicker that they grow. And yeah, so around neutral pH, 6.8, so a little bit lower than neutral, slightly acidic, and I use RO water with leaf litter to lower the pH to just below neutral, and yeah, that's about it for water parameters really. Just make sure the water's nice and clean. So feeding, I've been feeding these guys solely frozen foods for the last 2 months just to see what happens. I fed them obviously live foods on the lead up to my holiday, as I spoke about in previous videos, but I've been feeding Daphnia, brine shrimp, frozen brine with spirulina, frozen brine with garlic, bloodworms, tropical mix, which is like Daphnia and bloodworm mixed together. I've been feeding all sorts of frozen foods just to kind of see what happens and see how they grow, etc. And I'm glad to say that they've been growing really well, and as you can see from her, she's grown really quickly, which is obviously something that we've been looking to do. So let's talk about temperament. So these guys, Agassizi, are really aggressive in comparison to the rest of the Apistogrammas that I've had in the fish room. He's super aggressive, and all like forms and colour morphs and Agassizi variants are very aggressive. I've got a few in the fish room, and they are, yeah, they're very aggressive. He is very dominant and he takes control of his territory. He very much is not tolerant of any other fish in his fish tank apart from his female, and he only barely tolerates her, so it's one to be mindful of. They are a very personable fish, so Percy is one of the fish that always comes to greet me first thing in the morning because he thinks he's going to be fed. Look, he's coming up now. I'm really happy with him. I think he brings a different colour to Apistos that you normally see. So you normally see like the reds and the oranges, obviously from the Cacatoides and the McMasterii. You know, you don't really see too many blues apart from obviously the Borellii opal, but they're a lot smaller. So he's a bigger Apisto who's really blue. And I'm really happy with his colours and the way that he's developing as he gets older. So if I was to do things differently from start to finish, what would I do? Not really a great deal, to be honest. I've been really happy with Percy and his growth and his development. I'll just be a bit more mindful of obviously the aggression that they have towards each other and towards females. You know, he has quite a lot of aggression, as I've already mentioned. And just make sure there's lots of hiding spaces. Like this tank is perfect for them because there's, like I said, there's 5 coconut huts that she can go and hide in, and he obviously likes to retreat into his Amazon sword at the back. If I was to redo all of the Apisto tanks, they will all look very similar to this. This is the best setup that I think I've got going, apart from the Kakatoini setup, which is very similar to this. Breeding, I've not had any luck yet, to be quite honest. I'm not really too sure why. Maybe because they're still settling in together. They've only been together for 2 months now. I'm going to give it another few months just to keep it going and see what happens. They've been bonding together as a pair. She's just not really gone to that yellow colour yet. So I'm going to give it a little bit of time and see what happens. I'm going to start to drop in the live baby Brian soon, which has obviously been a trigger for lots of my other Apistos. I've been trying to get the fish room to kind of rock and roll, and baby Brian seems to do that. So I've got some more. I'm going to start dropping it in every day now, just to see what happens. And yeah, that pretty much sums it up. That pretty much sums it up for me, really. If you're looking for a nice blue tropical fish and you don't fancy keeping your tank at around 30 degrees to keep electric blue rams, then Apistogramma agassizii might be for you. Obviously, it's the males that really have the colour, but you know, you only really need one. They're an absolute stunning fish, and I highly recommend them. If you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at adams.aquatics, and I will see you in the next one.